I want to say also to the sisters and brothers that are watching us live on the internet, good afternoon. And as always, it is good to stand before you on the Lord's Sabbath day. This is the second leg of Black history told by the prophets. This is part 2, slavery. Part 2, slavery. You know, sisters and brothers, the Lord had this thing written by his prophets because he knew that the day was going to come when everybody was going to try and be his people Israel, but Israel. So he put conditions down and laid his word out so that nobody can claim Israel but Israel and prove it. You understand what I'm saying? Because you got everybody's Israelites. You had the Mormons. Most people don't understand. They call themselves Latter-day Israelites. Latter-day Israelites are also the old-day Israelites. Then you had the Jewish people. Then you had an organization talking about they was 2 of the tribe, Ephraim and Manasseh. Then they said that the Europeans were the other 10 tribes. Everybody is you but you. That's why the Lord had me to do this thing from the very basics. Even start out with color. If you are not black, you are not an Israelite. It's all that simple. When I'm talking about black, I mean one of what they call African Americans, or either look like the Africans. But we're to show you, sisters and brothers, that this slavery that the Lord put on us did not start or end in just North America. The Lord said he was going to enslave us all over this world, and we're going to show you that it have nothing to do that we're going to be treated bad. But this bad treatment don't have nothing to do with your color. A lot of people think, well, you know, we treated bad because we black. Well, I guess black don't like black either. We just going to have us a good look at this thing. We're going to start this slavery in the 28th chapter of Deuteronomy. Here, sisters and brothers, the Lord gave us blessings and curses. And once you understand this, you will understand that it don't have nothing to do. You don't have no room, excuse me, no room to dislike anybody but your forefathers. Because everything that has happened to us, the Lord has already put on the table. And since we have a problem as a people, we know wrong, but we do it anyway. And then when the drama fall on us, Lord have mercy, I didn't mean it. Please don't do this here. Or you know, give me another chance. It don't work like that. The whole thing is, when you do wrong and it's not dealt with, then what it does, it breeds wrong. That old saying, a little leaven the whole lump. And Israel's couldn't listen. We have a hearing problem. We hear noises. We don't hear words. And we're going to start this at 28, Deuteronomy 28 and verse 1, because the Lord is going to lay it all out. So there's no reason why we should not know what he is doing. 28 and 1. Go ahead and read.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Now look, he said, if you do all of his commandments, which he commanded him this day, not this day, not cherry pick the commandment, you have to do all God's commandments, sisters and brothers. And it is true, if you break one, you break them all. Now you have people try to use that as a crutch. See, I can't keep them all because I'm going to break one. Why can't you keep them all? He said, if you do the same commandment which I command you this day, because the Lord used the word, had Moses and told Moses to use this day to let you know that no matter what day you are living in, what time period you are living in, you still have to deal with the same commandments. And if you do that, he said, look, I will set you on high above all nations of the earth. That's a great big position, ain't it? Go ahead and read.
And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee.
Go ahead.
If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field.
So these blessings going to come up on you and overtake you. I mean, you couldn't run away from the blessing. They're going to catch up with you and run you down. If you only listen to the voice of the Lord your God, you're going to be blessed in the city, you're going to be blessed in the field and in the country. Go ahead and read.
Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body.
Your children going to be blessed. That's the fruit of your body. Go ahead and read.
And the fruit of thy ground. And the fruit of thy cattle.
Go ahead.
The increase of thy kind. And the flocks of thy sheep.
He let you know that everything that you put your hand to, everything that is you affiliated with or belong to you was going to be blessed. Skip down to verse 10 and read it.
And all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee.
And what's the name of the Lord? The name of the Lord is Israel. He said they're going to be afraid of you because everything you do is going to work. Skip down to verse 12 and go ahead.
The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven to give the rain unto thy land in his season.
Go ahead.
And to bless all the work of thine hand, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow.
Look what he says. He's going to bless you. He's going to rain on your crops. He's going to bless everything you have. And you're going to loan to many nations. You ain't going to have to borrow from nobody. You're going to be the financiers of the whole planet. Boy, that's a great big statement, ain't it? Go ahead and read.
And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail. And thou shalt be above only.
Boy, you know what? Every time I read that, it gives me a chill. You're going to be above only. That's a strong statement, sisters and brothers. I mean, you can't be nowhere else but on top. No matter where you are, what you're affiliated with, or who you're affiliated with, you are the top dog. It's all that simple. That's a big statement there. I'm going to make you the head and not the tail. You're going to be above only. Go ahead and read.
And thou shalt not be beneath. If that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I command thee this day, to observe and to do them.
He said, if only you listen to what I command you this day to observe and do them. Look, the Lord is laying it down on the table, sisters and brothers. He's letting you know, if you do all of these things that I'm telling you to do, I'm going to bless you. I'm going to bless you. Now, here come the other shoe. Skip now to verse 15. And go ahead.
But it shall come to pass.
But it shall come to pass.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. If you won't listen to his voice, go ahead and read.
To observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
Go ahead.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So now, if you don't keep my commandments, which I commanded this day, then all these curses going to come up on you and overtake you. Just like you wouldn't have been able to outrun the blessing, you're not going to be able to outrun the curses. I don't care what you do. He said, they're going to come get you. You can set in, they're going to get you. You can shake the fence, they're going to get you. You can make slogans like I'm black and I'm proud, they still going to get you. They're going to overtake you. Because you don't listen well. Go ahead and read.
Cursed shall thou be in the city.
Cursed you going to be in the city.
And cursed shall thou be in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
Go ahead.
Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body.
Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body. Your children just like a curse them. They can get shot or killed anytime. When ain't nobody else trying to shoot or kill them, then they turn around and shoot one another. Simple as that. Go ahead and read.
And the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
Go ahead.
Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out.
No matter what you find yourself doing, he said, you're going to be cursed. Skip down to verse 25. Verse 25 and go ahead.
The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them.
Go ahead.
And flee 7 ways before them.
Go ahead.
And shalt be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth.
He said, look, you're going to go out against your enemies, and they're going to scatter you. And then you shall be removed, not migrated. Just like you get a ball and set it from one place to another, you shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. Because you won't listen. Skip now to verse 36 and go ahead.
The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
Go ahead.
And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone.
See, we don't know nothing about the gods of this nation. We don't know nothing about the God of Christmas, about the God of Easter, about the God of Sunday. We don't know nothing about the God of going to heaven or the God of the rapture. We don't know nothing about that. The God we knew was always talking about coming here and living among us, not us going up there and flying around with him. We don't know nothing about them. But he said, brought us here to this nation. And what's going to happen when you get here? Go ahead and read.
And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb,
go ahead,
and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee.
You know what an astonishment is? But look at them people. I can't believe they can live like that. I can't believe their behavior. Then a byword, you know, all them little names like in and coon. And all them little pet names that you got among all the nations. And no matter what nation you go in, you find yourself being labeled with one of them little proverbs or bywords. And they're always astonished at your behavior and the way that you are living, sisters and brothers. Skip down to verse 37. Where are we? Down to verse 41, brother. Verse 41, and go ahead.
Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity.
Because your son and your children are going to go into captivity. Go ahead.
All thy trees and fruit of thy land shall the locust consume. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low.
He said, look, your children are going to be going in slavery, captivity, and the stranger that's within you. What do you mean by that? Sisters and brothers, when Israel came out of Egypt, it was a mixed multitude. People from a whole lot of different nations. He didn't pick one. He picked them all. Now you tell me, who is it that you are above? Nobody. Edom selling your cars. Ishmael selling your gas. Indian selling your donuts. The Polish are building your houses. Mexicans are cutting your yard. And the Koreans are selling you wigs. Everybody around you that is selling to you look like somebody else. It's all that simple. And we don't lay that to heart, sisters and brothers. Go ahead and read.
He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
Who can you lend to, sisters and brothers? We had a couple of little black banks, independent banks. Where is it now? Seaway Bank. Gentiles and bought that. You ain't got nothing. How you going to loan something to somebody? I might loan Antoine here $5. But if you don't pay me before the end of the month, I might be $5 short of my rent. Go ahead and read.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee.
He said, look, all of them going to come upon you. All these curses. Go ahead and read.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Then they shall be upon you for a sign and a wonder. You know what a sign is? Something identifies, sisters and brothers. You have a bunch of Hebrew Israelites running around here that made everybody Israel. The American Indians is Israel. The Puerto Ricans is Israel. the merchants of Israel. I said, use the sign. You want to find Israel? Find whoever came over here as slaves. Then you just put your hand on Israel. He told you that's the way it is. A sign and a wonder. Sign is identified. People wondering, why this happens to these people? They really don't know why we suffering the way we suffer. We don't know why we suffering, but you find it out today. What verse are we?
We're at 47.
Go ahead and read.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart
Go ahead.
for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst.
Because you will not serve the Lord with joy and gladness. He said, you're going to serve your enemy, which the Lord going to bring against you in hunger and thirst. Go ahead and read.
And in nakedness.
And in nakedness.
And in want of all things.
And in want of all things.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
And sisters and brothers, he is working on us today, everywhere on this planet. Skip down to verse 64 and go ahead.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other.
Go ahead.
And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Now you look at it, sisters and brothers. Even you get the people that are scattered over the Mediterranean, they serving other people's gods. Because we wouldn't obey our God. So he said, you're going to be scattered in all nations. You're going to serve other gods, wood and stone. Go ahead and read.
And among these nations shalt thou find no ease. Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind.
And that's what we have. We ain't getting no peace. We're afraid of everything. We're scared of our neighborhood. We're scared to go outside the house. Police stop us. We're scared we might get shot. You meet a couple of young brothers meeting you. They look at you. You're scared you're going to get shot or mugged. You're scared of everything. Children scared to walk from school. Go ahead and read.
And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee. And thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life.
In short, sisters and brothers, you can get killed anytime. You're most likely to get killed than anybody else in this country or in other countries where you've been scattered. So your life is hanging in balance all the time. If you ain't getting killed, then you don't have enough right medical. You don't have a lot of stuff that you should have to live a long life. You just out here because your God put you out here. And look what else he said. Skip down to verse 6 to 8 and read it.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
And he going to do this, finish that.
And no man shall buy you.
He said he's going to bring you into Egypt again. To us, Egypt is the house of bondage. He already told you he's going to take you all over the world, so you ain't going back to the land of Egypt. But to Egypt is the house of bondage, slavery, by ships. I want the people in back there, if you can throw me a picture of the ships up there and see what you look like on the board here. I'm going to show you now. I'm going to see, maybe we came in by a cruise liner. You know, maybe you know how it is. Maybe one of them ships you go to Jamaica. You mean we ain't got one like that? Give me the ships. I don't want to see the philosophies yet. Because I want you to look at this, sisters and brothers. Sometimes we don't have it. Maybe I should have had it up here and they could have focused on it. Because I want to show you how they put you in these ships. So we got one over here. I want you to, where is it, laying on over there? Yeah. I thought they had it over there. If they can't bring it up, I want you to focus this on the camera. I got it. Stay there before I find you. Okay, put the camera on this and put it on the board. Now you see that? Now, did that look like he was taking a cruise? You know, you are put up feet, head, stacked like boards. Even animals wasn't treated that bad when they brought them on ship. And you had to use the washroom in that position. The only blessing you had was if you was on the top layer. If you was on the bottom layer, you caught it all. Think about it, sisters and brothers. That's the way. Now, who is it that was brought to this hemisphere other than us like that? Then we said, when you get there, you're going to be sold as male and female slave. Will somebody tell me if the Puerto Ricans were sold as male and female slave? Was the Native American and Indian sold? We're on everybody's side, but ain't nobody on your side. So now, those are the curses. Let's see which one we fell under. Let's go into Daniel's 9th chapter. Daniel's chapter 9. So he put the blessing in front of us, and he put the curses in front of us. Now let's see which one of us fell on. Everybody know, because you know what done happened to you. But we're going to read it anyway. Daniel's 9, and we're starting at verse 9. Daniel's 9 and verse 9. 9 and 9. Okay, read it.
To the Lord our God belong mercies and forgiveness. Though we have rebelled against him.
Though we belong mercy and forgiveness, though we have rebelled against him. Skip down to verse 11 and go ahead.
Yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law.
How many?
All.
All Israel have transgressed your law. Go ahead and read.
Even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us. And the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him.
So now we know which one we under, don't we? Therefore, the curse is pouring upon us, sisters and brothers. Even the law that Moses wrote. We just got through reading that. Go ahead and read.
And he has confirmed his words, which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us.
Go ahead.
By bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem.
He's telling you. He have confirmed what he said by the mouth of Moses that he's going to do to us. He said, look, in this great, under the whole heaven, there have not been a great evil come upon the people that the Lord has brought upon us. I will not share that with nobody. And you got these foolish Hebrews running around there, to everybody's an Israelite now. When you find out who was brought here by force, who was sold, who was enslaved, you just found Israel. I don't care how you're trying to look around you. When you come up again, you're looking at you. It's all that simple, sister and brother, because we are stupid and we are still stupid. Let's go into Isaiah, the 5th chapter. Isaiah chapter 5. And it bothers me sometimes when I look at some of my brothers. I mean, it bothers me. Because you refuse to acknowledge your transgression so the Lord can bless you. Even in your enemy's land, he'll bless you. But you have to acknowledge your transgression. Stop trying to blame everybody else. Isaiah 5, and we're going to start at verse 11. Isaiah 5 and verse 11. Okay, go ahead.
Woe to them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink.
Go ahead.
That continue until night, to wine inflame them.
And we love that. Party, party, party. Go ahead and read.
And the harp and the viol, the tabret and pipe, and wine are in their feasts. But they regard not the work of the Lord.
And I look at it all the time. Not only in church, they want to dance and big music, preacher get up and holler and, oh, praise God. And the Holy Ghost is in here. And then boom, boom, boom. Everybody running over things. Then you go to the nightclub. Boom, boom, boom. It's like, you know what really sticks in my craw? When I be looking at TV, every time you see somebody else doing something constructive, but when you see one of us, we dancing and twisting and carrying on. That bothers me. Big time. And we don't pay no attention to the work of the hand of the Lord. No. Go ahead and read.
Neither consider the operation of his hand.
No, we don't. Go ahead.
Therefore, my people are gone into captivity.
Therefore, my people are gone into captivity.
Because they have no knowledge.
Because they have no knowledge. We wouldn't listen to God. We didn't appreciate the wisdom that he put in front of us. Go ahead and read.
And their honorable men are famished.
And the honorable men are famished. That means they stupid. People you hold in high regard don't know nothing. But still, they're going to lead you. How are you going to tell me the way to go and your eyes are put out? Your honorable men are famished. Go ahead and read.
And their multitude dried up with thirst. Therefore hell hath enlarged herself.
Therefore hell hath enlarged herself.
And opened her mouth without measure. And their glory, and their multitude, and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it.
Look, sisters and brothers, they have implanted in your mind that when you think about the word hell, you think about a guy with horns and a pitchfork and fire. Hell is a state of condition. Lake of fire is a state of condition, but this is talking about hell has enlarged itself. You don't have no job. You're broke. You work all day when you do have a job and you can't pay for nothing. Your house locked up because you're scared somebody's going to break in and take that little you have. I say all the time, we got so many locks and bars on our house, if we get caught on fire, by the time you navigate them locks and bars, you burn up. Your condition ain't no better. Has enlarged itself. And you know what we done? We have danced and boogalooed right on into it. And then you wonder why nobody else respects you. In order to be respected, you got to earn respect. You want to respect my woman? I got to respect her first. You're going to talk about your sister and your woman and your wife and your girl and call her everything. Then you expect for somebody else to come and respect her. They're giving you what you're giving her. Let's go. And we're going to deal with this God of ours. And he come to us like a man and a woman. Let's go into Songs of Solomon. We're going to point out some of these things that he did. Because I see the Gentiles and going into the Songs of Solomon, they done made it a love story between Solomon and one of the many strange women that he dealt with. This ain't got nothing to do with no woman. But the problem is we don't read, we don't care. Remember, a Gentile told, boy, I love that Song of Solomon, man. That Solomon was a hell of a lover. I said, that ain't got nothing to do with Solomon. I said, plus what you don't know is that Solomon got our nation split with his annex. It's all that simple, because he wouldn't listen to God. But we're going to find out who's talking here. Is this Solomon or is this somebody else? Let's start at verse 1. Song of Solomon 1 and verse 1. 1 and 1. Go ahead.
The Song of Songs, which is Solomon. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth.
Go ahead.
For thy love is better than wine. Because of the savor of thy good ointments, thy name is as ointment poured forth. Therefore do the virgins love thee.
Now this is the one that said, let me kiss him. The virgin love him. Who is this that is talking about? Skip down to verse 5. Verse 5 and go ahead.
I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem.
So he's answering these virgins and these women, which represent all of Israel. He said, I'm black but comely, O daughters of Jerusalem. We're going to run this down. Go ahead and read.
As the tents of Kedar. As the curtains of Solomon.
As the curtains of Solomon. Go ahead and read.
Look not upon me because I am black. Because the sun hath looked upon me.
Can anybody turn black by laying in the sun? No. What you can do is get skin cancer. Hey, brother so stupid telling me the other day, it's so-and-so, so-and-so, so the Europeans, they white because they're in closed climates. And, and Africans are black because they're in hot climates. I said, then we must be a chameleon, because as soon as I leave the cold climate, I'm going to go to the black, and I'm going to turn black. You have some Israelites that were born in Russia. What happened to them? But let's get down to it. He said, look not on me because I'm black, because the sun have looked up on me. Go ahead and read.
My mother's children were angry with me.
My mother's children was angry with me. We're gonna cut it off right here. We're going to come back. We're going to do one of these half-verse things. Because we're going to find out, sisters and brothers, who is it that had his sisters and brothers angry with me? That's your mother's children. You know, if my mother's children are my sisters and my brothers, they're angry with me. Let's run this down, but keep your marker because we're coming back here. Let's go into Psalms chapter 69. Let's back right on up to Psalm 69. We're going to run this down. And we're going to start reading at verse 9. Because apparently this person have a whole lot of pull with God. Because he's going to ask him to do something for his sake. You know, when I asked the brother, go in there and tell the brother, let you have that. And tell him, do it for Brother Boyd's sake. That means that I feel like I have a whole lot of pull to give that kind of directive. So let's see what this guy said. Verse 6, rather. Go ahead.
Let not them that wait on thee, O Lord God of hosts, be ashamed for my sake.
He said, let not them that wait on thee, O Lord of hosts, be ashamed for my sake. So this guy must have a lot of pull if he's going to request the Lord to do something for his sake. Go ahead and read.
Let not those that seek thee be confounded for my sake, O God of Israel.
Again he said, don't let them be confounded for my sake, O God of Israel. Go ahead and read.
Because for thy sake I have borne reproach. Shame hath covered my face.
Oh, so no wonder he's making a request for his sake, because I have done something for your sake. I have borne reproach. Shame hath covered my face for your sake. So he's saying, listen to me and bless those of mine for my sake, because I have done to suffer this great thing for your sake. Go ahead and read.
I am become a stranger unto my brethren, an alien unto my mother's children.
Oh, so this is the one that said his mother's children had an issue with him. He said, I have become a stranger to my brethren and an alien to my mother's children. Go ahead and read.
For the zeal of thine house hath eaten me up.
Now for the zeal of thine house have eaten me up. Go ahead and read.
And the reproaches of them that reproach thee are fallen upon me.
For the reproaches of them that reproach thee are fallen up on me. Let's see who this is doing all this talking. Let's go into Romans, the 15th chapter. That's why you have to have the law and the testimony, sisters and brothers. That's the Old and the New Testament. If you don't have it, then you dumb. If you're Old Testament scholar, you dumb. If you're a New Testament Christian along, you are dumb. Because you don't know nothing. Half full and half empty is inadequate. Romans the 15th chapter. Romans chapter 15. Romans chapter 15. Romans chapter 15. Read verse 1. Go ahead.
We then that are strong are to bear the infirmities of the weak, and not to please ourselves.
And we should. But skip down to verse 3 and see who we should be mimicking. Go ahead and read.
For even Christ pleased not himself. But as it is written.
Even Christ pleased not himself, but as it is written. Go ahead.
The reproaches of them that reproach thee.
The reproaches of them that reproach thee.
Fell on me.
Fell on me. So that was Jesus talking, wasn't it? Of course, he already said he bears shame for the Father's sake.
That's right.
Because if Jesus didn't come and die for the sins of the people, the whole creation would have been cut off when Adam and Eve failed to obey God. So now, that tell me one thing then. So the guy that said, I'm black but comely, that's Jesus. And the ones that he spoke of, his mother's children, was angry with him. Don't you know it was Israel that got Jesus crucified? Even when Pilate was trying to let him off, they threatened him with Caesar. He even washed his hands. His wife sent him a note, said, hey, don't be a part of the death of this innocent man. He washed his hands and said, my hands are clean of the blood of this innocent man. You know what your forefather said? Let his blood be on us and our children. You got it?
That's right. Our children's children.
And you have the audacity to be upset with somebody for what has befallen us. So this one that's black but come, that's Jesus. Let's go back to Songs of Solomon. I told you stay there. The first chapter. And we're going to show you some other stuff here. Because, you know, we hymned up in these Sunday churches. They're telling us about the Holy Ghost and the Holy Spirit and the neck bone connected to the foot bone. And you ain't got no understanding. You don't know who you are, what you are, where you came from, why you being treated like you are, or where you going. All you know is that when you wake up in the morning, you're alive, and you don't really know that. Songs of Solomon. Let's read the 6th verse again, but we're going to get to read it all this time. Verse 6, go ahead and read.
Look not upon me because I am black, because the sun hath looked upon me.
Go ahead.
My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but mine own vineyard have I not kept.
He said, my mother's children was angry with me. They made me kingdom of the vineyards while my own vineyard have gone unkept. Let's go find out who this Lord that we're talking about. This is Jesus talking here. Let's go and see who his vineyard is. Let's go into Isaiah the 5th chapter. Isaiah chapter 5. And we're going to start reading at verse 1. Isaiah 5 and 1. But ain't nobody bothered to deal with this. You know why? Because this is about you. Everybody's telling you his story. It's time for you to tell your story.
That's right.
And that's what it's all about. That's what the word history means. His story. Who done told you your story? Well, they hide from me. It ain't hid. You haven't bothered to look. I take issue with people always, see, they done hid history. They ain't hid nothing. It's laying out on the top of the table. All you got to do is look for it. The Lord says, seek and you shall find. But you ain't looking for nothing. You want everything to be easy. That's when the government offered welfare. You didn't know that was a tool to destroy you. Get you dependent. Somebody going to give you something all the time. Now the day going to come, they going to say, I ain't going to give you nothing else. Now you're going to walk around and starve to death because you don't know how to provide for yourself. You don't know ugly when you see it. All you know is free. So the Lord said, he made me the kingdom keeper of other vineyard, while mine own vineyard have gone unkept. Let's see what his vineyard is and why it's gone unkept. 5 and 1. Go ahead and read.
Now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard.
See, still, this is a love story in Songs of Solomon goes on, don't it? Go ahead and read.
My well-beloved hath a vineyard in a very fruitful hill. And he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof, and planted it with the choicest vine.
Go ahead.
And built a tower in the midst of it. And also made a wine press therein.
Go ahead.
And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes.
Look what he did to this vineyard. He planted it. He laid it out. He put him a wine press in it. He gave it everything. Planted, put the most choice vines was planted in it. Gave it everything that it was supposed to have. Because this is some of his laws that he gave it. The best. And when he looked for grapes, it brought forth wild grapes. What did the Lord say? Go ahead and read.
And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah, judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard.
Because that's who it is between us and the vineyard keeper. Nobody else. Us, sisters and brothers. Us and him. Judge now between me and my vineyard. Go ahead and read.
What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it?
Go ahead.
Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes.
Go ahead.
And now go to. I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard.
I'm going to tell you who will do to my vineyard?
I will do.
What I will do to my vineyard. Go ahead and read.
I will take away the hedge thereof.
I'm going to take away the hedges. I'm going to remove this protective angels that I got around. Go ahead and read.
And it shall be eaten up. And break down the wall thereof.
All your barriers I'm going to break down the wall. Go ahead and read.
And it shall be trodden down.
Go ahead.
And I will lay it waste. It shall not be pruned nor digged.
So who is destroying this vineyard? The Lord is. Go ahead and read.
But there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it.
I'm going to bring briars and thorns on it, and I'm not going to rain on it. I ain't going to give them no crop. Nothing can make them grow. Go ahead and read.
For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel.
Who?
The house of Israel.
We're not talking plants here. We're talking people.
That's right.
The vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel. Go ahead and read.
And the men of Judah, his pleasant plant.
Those are his pleasant plants. Go ahead.
And he looked for judgment, but behold, oppression.
That's what he saw. And he looked for judgment, and behold, oppression. Go ahead and read.
For righteousness, but behold, a cry.
Because we oppress one another. Yes. We have always killed one another. And I get tired of this brother trying to hide. Well, you see, we didn't have this killing and murder. You better go and look before you was a nation. We filled the streets when we was a nation with the blood of our own people. Yep. And we done brought these bad habits wherever we go. And it don't get no better. You know why? Because everybody is pointing the finger. The Lord said, I gave them everything. I gave you everything you need. That's the pleasant plant, the choice vines. But when I looked for righteousness, all I saw was wrong, wrong, wrong. Let's go into Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter. But don't nobody want to deal with this because everybody want to point the finger, sisters and brothers. The Lord said you got to acknowledge your sins and the sins of your fathers. Otherwise, if you don't, you ain't got nothing coming. Jeremiah 2. That's why I don't blame nobody. You got these other Israelite camp. Brother, what's your secret? The secret is observe God's commandments and keep them. Acknowledge Jesus for who he is. And acknowledge your transgression. I have nothing against nobody. No nation, no color, no tongue, nobody. Because ain't nobody done nothing to me. When the Lord said your head is going to be busted, somebody got to do it. You know why? Because he said it's going to be busted. Jeremiah 2 and verse 14. 2 and verse 14. Go ahead and read.
Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave?
The Lord is asking the question. Is he a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Go ahead.
Why is he spoiled?
Why then is he spoiled? But we know. But go ahead and read.
The young lions roared upon him and yelled, and they made his land waste. His cities are burned without inhabitant.
Ain't that something? The Lord is the one that brought this on you. Skip down to verse 19. Look what he said about you. Go ahead and read.
Thine own wickedness shall correct thee.
That's what's going to correct you. Go ahead and read.
And thy backsliding shall reprove thee. Know therefore and see that it is an evil thing and bitter that thou hast forsaken the Lord thy God, and that my fear is not in thee, said the Lord God of hosts.
He said, I want you to know that's an evil thing what you've done. Go ahead and read.
For of old time I have broken thy yoke and burst thy bands. And thou saidest, I will not transgress. When upon every high hill and under every green tree thou wanderest playing the harlot.
He said, look, I broke your band of old time. I destroyed Egypt for you. I brought you into the land of Canaan, and I took all the Canaanites down. I destroyed the Amorites for you. And you told me that you would not sin, and all the time you was committing spiritual adultery on every hill. And you tell him all the time, Lord, I'm going to keep your law. Pass me the pork chop. He said, and I'm looking at this. What verse are we?
We're at 21.
Go ahead and read.
Yet I had planted thee a noble vine.
Yet I have planted you a noble vine.
Wholly a right seed.
Wholly a right seed. That's his vineyard that he's talking about. Go ahead and read.
How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me?
How have you turned into a degenerate? A strange vine. I don't know you, Israel. I don't know you. I gave you my dietary law. You said all you got to do is pray over and you can eat anything. I told you not to steal. You do every chance. I tell you not to kill. I tell you not to commit adultery. Your neighbor can't go to work without you knowing that his wife. I gave you better than that. How is it that you have turned to what you are? Skip now to verse 30. Verse 30. And go ahead.
In vain have I smitten your children.
He said, look, in vain have I smitten your children. Go ahead and read.
They receive no correction.
Uh-huh.
Your own sword has devoured your prophets like a destroying lion.
Ain't nobody else killed the prophets of Israel but Israel. So you won't receive no correction. I don't care what I do to you. It don't work. Go ahead and read.
O generation, see ye the word of the Lord.
Uh-huh.
Have I been a wilderness unto Israel? A land of darkness?
Uh-huh.
Wherefore say my people, we are lords, we will come no more unto thee.
That is the problem, sisters and brothers. That is the problem. He said, look, have I been a wilderness to you? I done showed you everything. But how is it then that you going to tell me that I will not come to you because I'm a Lord unto myself? This is what this Hebrew is saying even this day. And wondering why the wall is still falling on you. I listen to these brothers walking around, I'm Prince this, I'm Rabbi this, I'm Imam this. Well, what you are is a brother with a problem. I can't use the word I want to use. And the word that God had all his prophets write to you, you don't read none of it. You know why? Because you are Lord unto yourself. My word outweighs the Lord's word. And look what this Lord that you say you won't come no more to. Look what he said. Let's go into Luke the 13th chapter. He said, because your own swords have devoured your prophets. So who you going to blame? You kill your own prophets. Luke 13, and we're going to start at verse 34. Luke 13 and verse 34. That's why it sticks in my craw. I listen to these brothers walk around talking about this here and talking about culture and this here and the dress, you know, and the friend. You got a bigger problem. You hung up on everything. It's just like the Lord going to send you a hungry man food in a wagon. You admire the wagon. You done forgot what the wagon is here for. You so busy praising the wagon until you're going to starve to death because you don't see the food that's in it. This is the problem with us as a people, sisters and brothers. And you're wondering why all these things have befallen us. Look what Jesus said about you. Verse 34. Luke 13 and verse 34. Go ahead and read.
O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, which killeth the prophet.
Who killeth the problem?
And stonest them that are Jerusalem.
Uh-huh. And do what?
And stonest them that are sent unto thee.
Go ahead.
How often would I have gathered thy children together, as a hen doth gather her brood under her wings, and ye would not?
He said, look, you the one that killed the prophet. You stoned all them that are sent to you. It haven't changed now. You get up and tell the truth, they got a problem with you. It's all that simple. I know all my Hebrew brothers got a problem with me. I remember when I used to go to, before they closed Joliet, I used to go down there. Brother Terry said, brother, you know, I like your teaching, but I got something against you. Why? You're always calling out the Hebrew Israelites. You always got something against them. I said, because they're guilty. He said, you're the one that killed the prophet. And you stones all those that are sent to you. Go ahead and read.
Behold, your house is left unto you desolate.
Uh-huh.
And verily I say unto you, you shall not see me until the time come when you shall say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord.
And you ain't going to see that until he split the heavens, sisters and brothers. So your house, until that time, is left unto you desolate. Let's go back to Jeremiah. But this time, Jeremiah, the 12th chapter. Don't nobody pay no attention, sisters and brothers. And said, I know that the Lord is the one that put this Black History series together. It's beyond me. Because he got a message that he want to give to his people. and to the rest of the world. Give his people, make them clean their act up, and the rest of the world let you know if you don't clean your act up, I got something for you too. It's all that simple. I hear all the talk against me, the Bowieites, the people that listen to this. Bowie didn't write this book. I am reading this book. You understand what I'm saying? We're going to start at verse 7. Jeremiah 12 and verse 7. Okay, go ahead.
I have forsaken mine house. I have left mine heritage.
Go ahead.
I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hand of her enemies.
The Lord letting you know he loved you. That's what that love story is about in the Songs of Solomon. He said, I have forsaken my house. I have left mine heritage. I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hand of her enemies. He did that. Go ahead and read.
Mine heritage is unto me as a lion in the forest. It crieth out against me. Therefore have I hated it.
And it's still crying out against him. These Hebrews don't understand that Jesus is the God of the Old Testament. It was him in the Garden of Eden that asked Adam, where art thou? It was him that said, let us make man in our own image. And what did they do? The most hated things among Hebrew Israelites is the name of Jesus. Even though the Lord told you in Malachi 1 and 11 that my name, from the rising of the sun to the going down of the same, my name shall be great among the Gentiles. What is the greatest name among the Gentiles?
Jesus.
Jesus. But we ain't listening to none of that. You know why? Because we are lords all unto ourselves. We don't need the Lord. Go ahead and read.
Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her.
Go ahead.
Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour.
He said, now you're just like a speckled bird. You ain't black or you ain't white. You got all kind of spots, so you don't belong nowhere no more. You're a white bird with black spots. You trying to hang up with the whites. No, you got black spots. Oh, I got black. Oh, you got to hang up with the black. You can't go here too. You go among the Gentiles, they hate you. You go among the Hamites, they hate you. You know why? Because you, God, have abandoned you to a degree. Go ahead and read.
Many pastors have destroyed my vineyard.
That's what done happened to you. You understand? That's what done happened to you. Go ahead and read.
They have trod my portion underfoot. They have made my pleasant portion a desolate wilderness.
Yeah, many pastors have done this. Our leaders, our spiritual leaders, tell you can eat anything. Tell you you're going to heaven. Tell you don't have to keep them old commandments. God loves everybody. He don't tell the thief, stop stealing. The adulterer, stop committing adultery. The sodomite, stop practicing homosexuality. He don't do that. Come on, God loves everybody. Come as you are. I was tempted when I was young to go to some of these churches where I was. Once I found out where the money was kept, I would go in there with my pistol and stick them up. You can't do that, brother. You told me to come as you are. And that's what I am. He said, many here didn't destroyed my vineyard. And then made it desolate. Go ahead. What verse are we?
We're at verse 11.
Go ahead and read.
They have made it desolate, and being desolate, it mourneth unto me. The whole land is made desolate, because no man layeth it to heart.
And ain't nobody paid it heart. Nobody paid no attention. Because your pastor says, okay. Go ahead and read.
The spoilers are come upon all high places through the wilderness. For the sword of the Lord shall devour from the one end of the land even to the other end of the land. No flesh shall have peace.
He said he's going to get everybody from one end to the other, sisters and brothers. He took the 9 tribes out by the Assyrians. Took out Judah, Benjamin, and Levi out by the Babylonians. And we've come on down. Still as captives, sisters and brothers. And the last place we stood when we had a little settlement in Jerusalem before the last of the captivity took place. Let's go. And when Jesus was here, he saw it, and it bothered him because like the book said, with the increase of knowledge is the increase of sorrow, because you know what's going to happen. Let's go into Luke, the 19th chapter. Luke chapter 19. It's rough. You know what's going on. You know the fate. Like I see people out there doing a lot of wrong. I see people running around, homosexual. I know that they're going to burn in the lake of fire. If they want to, I tell them. You get in adultery, I know where you're going to go if you don't quit. A liar, a thief. I know a murderer. I know where you're going. I tell you, look, if you don't stop that, you're going to go into the lake of fire and burn forever. Oh, brother, you ain't judging me. No, I ain't judging you. I'm just trying to save your life. Oh, you condemning me. I am not condemning you. I am trying to get you from among the condemned. Don't nobody listen. I know. Just like Jesus knew what was going to happen to Jerusalem. Let's start at verse 41. 19 and verse 41. Okay, go ahead.
And when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it, saying, if thou hadst known, even thou, at least in this thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace, but now they are hid from thine eyes.
Now look, and that's when he was here. He knew, he said, look, he started crying. I bet they, what is he talking about? He said, if only you know, if only you knew what belonged to you. You were supposed to be the top nation on earth. You were supposed to be the financier of the whole planet. You were supposed to be on the top only. Said, but now it's hid from your eyes. Go ahead and read.
For the days shall come upon thee, that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee round, and keep thee in on every side.
Your enemy's going to cast a trench around you and keep you in on every side. Go ahead and read.
And shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee.
Go ahead.
And they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knewest not the time of thy visitation.
He called it. He said, look, your enemy going to put a trench around you. They're going to lay you even with the ground, and your children going to fall with you. All because you wouldn't obey. Let's go and see when that happened. We're going in Atlas of the Bible, page 202, because this happening, sisters and brothers, and we're going to show you who did it and at what time they did it. This is a history book, Atlas of the Bible. Go ahead and read.
In 68, the Roman commander launched a methodical campaign to isolate Jerusalem. The overthrow and suicide of the Emperor Nero brought operations in Judea to a temporary halt, as Vespasian prudently withdrew to test the imperial winds.
See, the Roman general Vespasian was the one that was campaigning against Jerusalem. That's in the year 68. But when Nero, the one that fiddled while Rome burned, said he died, I don't know how. But anyway, when Vespasian found out he was dead, he went back to Rome to try and see if he could become emperor. Go ahead and read.
Eventually, he himself was declared emperor. Sailing for Rome in the spring of 70, he left his capable son, Titus, and Titus marched rapidly southward with 2 legions.
So now when he left his son Titus in charge.
In charge of the campaign against Jerusalem.
In charge of the campaign against Jerusalem. Go ahead and read.
The walls enclosing the temple in the upper and lower cities were the most formidable barrier of all. Postponing an all-out assault, Titus turned to starvation tactics.
See, look, they had some formidable walls around Jerusalem. So Titus knew he was going to lose a lot of men if he tried to all-out assault them. So he went to starvation. How did he do this starvation tactic? Go ahead and read.
A certain amount of food had been smuggled into the city almost nightly during the siege. But now the Romans sealed off Jerusalem completely.
How did they do that?
With a wall of their own, made of earth and some 5 miles in circumference. From the outset of the siege.
Now what they did, he did what Jesus said. Made a wall of their own, a 5 mile circumference around Jerusalem, sisters and brothers. Cast a trench around it. They had to do that because the Lord said that. Couldn't do it no other way. And what happened? Go ahead and read.
From the outset of the siege, those attempting to get through the encircling lines had been caught and crucified.
Go ahead.
Sometimes the daily executions reached 500.
See, that's what I tell people all the time. You associate the cross with Jesus, that's got nothing to do with Jesus. Mm-hmm. That was a Roman death sentence. They crucified people before Jesus, and they crucified after Jesus. How many did they crucify sometime in a day?
500.
500 people being crucified a day by Titus. Go ahead and read.
The crosses were never bare. Inside the city, starvation and disease claimed a mounting toll. Bodies filled the streets and were stacked in houses. Thousands of corpses were thrown from the walls into the valleys below.
Jesus saw all of that. That's why he started crying. You got one room full of dead bodies. Got to the point you just start throwing them over, by the thousand over the wall, because the city started to stink so bad. Go ahead and read.
The surviving rebels made a last-ditch stand within Herod's palace. The battering rams resumed their rhythmic work.
Go ahead.
When the legionnaires at last broke into this refuge, they found only corpses.
Now, this and nothing but dead people there. But everybody didn't die. We're going to show you this, but the thing we're going to show you here, sisters and brothers, is that Jesus gave them a warning. They could have got out. Let's go in the 21st chapter of Luke. He gave them a warning, like the Lord always tell you what's going to happen to you, and then he tell you how to escape it. But we don't listen. We don't listen. That is a major flaw with us as a people. We don't listen. We hear noise. Blah, 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 blah. Luke 21, let's start reading at verse 20. Luke 21 and verse 20. Okay, go ahead.
And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
What armies he talking about? The Roman army. When he saw them armies coming, he said, I want you to know that it's been to be destroyed now. So I'm going to tell you what you should do. Go ahead and read.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
Get out of it. Go on to the mountain. Go ahead and read.
And let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter therein too.
And if you're outside in the country, don't come back. Don't be trying to smuggle food into the people. Get out. And if you're out, don't come back in. Go ahead and read.
For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
See, this was already written. This is going to happen. God say he's going to scatter you into all nations of the world. He said, so these be the days when this prophecy is going to be fulfilled. Go ahead and read.
But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days.
Go ahead.
For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people.
He said, because there's going to be great distress in the land and wrath upon this people. What people? The people of Jerusalem. Go ahead and read.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations.
They're going to be fall by the edge of the sword and led away captive into all nations. Go ahead.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
How long?
Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
That means they're going to run it until the times of the Gentiles, which are white folks or European, is not running this world no more. And the one that's going to take that from them is Jesus and Jesus alone. He told them Jerusalem's going to be destroyed. They're going to lay you even with the ground. You and your children. They're going to cast a trench around you so you can't get out. So I'm telling you what you do. When you see these Roman armies come start to surround the city, leave. If you're not in it, don't come back. We didn't listen. Therefore, so many people was killed until they stacked them like planks and buildings. They threw them by the thousand. And those that was left, he scattered them all over the world, starting first with the Mediterranean. We're going to look in this book last 2 million years. Go ahead.
Faith survives the dispersion.
Faith survives the dispersion. Go ahead and read.
The crucifixion of Jesus about AD 30 did not end Jewish resistance to the Roman occupation.
Go ahead.
In 70, when the country was again in a state of revolt, Jerusalem, the holy city, became the core of the resistance to the Romans.
Go ahead.
Titus, the son of Emperor Vespasian, proceeded to lay siege to Jerusalem. The city fell, and the inhabitants were enslaved in their thousands.
Now, we just got through reading that in another history book, didn't we? Titus. That's when he did this in 70 A.D. The ones that he didn't kill, they were scattered all over the Mediterranean.